And I see a few new faces, so I'll let you introduce yourself. If this is your first time here, get up, please stand up and say hello. And your name and...
Hello, my name is Steve, and I live in David.
And I'm Jennifer, Dave's wife.
Okay, please.
So then Dave too, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm Stephanie, and we're from Montly.
Please, glad you could make it.
Yeah.
My husband Ron and I live in Trenton.
Great, thank you for coming.
My name is Michael, I'm also from Dayton.
Okay, great.
Mark, I'm from Green Hills, just first time checking.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad you all could make it. Okay, a couple of things to go over tonight. Joanne, if you wanted to say something about the butterfly show and how that's going.
Yeah, Butterfly Show is in full swing. It is very crowded. It's over at the Crown. We're there on Wednesdays and Saturdays. The shift runs 10 to 2. I will pass around the sign-up sheet. There are already some names on it, but you're welcome to sign up whenever you like. Being there at the Butterfly Show affords us, we have classes there. We take care of the trees there. What else does it afford us to do? But anyway,
Do the butterfly show for free? We talked about the club.
and we talk about the club, and because we've had the flyers out for the beginners class, it's already sold out. So, for 2 weeks it's been out. 2 weeks the flyers have been out. Yeah.
Can you say what the shift entails for them?
The shift, oh yes, thank you. The shift is you bring a couple of trees to work on yourself, and we have brochures that talk about the club. All you do is, you have to answer questions. You're not doing a demonstration. You're just answering questions. We're talking to people about bonsai, which is kind of fun to clean up and sell. And you may or may not get your trees worked on, but we're talking about with people. And that's essentially what you do in the shift. And hopefully there's more than one person, so you two can talk about your trees and whatever.
Good stuff.
All right.
Good hard.
All right, thank you. I'll pass around you're already.
Thanks, Joanne. Chris, did you want to give us a brief update on the beginners class?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, no, she's like the right hand.
Like Joanne said, the beginner's class has been sold out as of a week or so ago. And it didn't take very long. We get the handouts over there and boom. And most of the sign-ups were people that came in, saw our collection over there, and saw the people that were working on trees there and answering questions like we were talking about. And the next thing you know, we got our spots all filled. We're thinking about maybe, I guess we're going to think about this soon, at least before the butterfly show ends. We'll start making handouts for the next.
We're there anyway on Wednesdays for maintenance, and we can always lay out
Something, yeah. So we're thinking about maybe putting together another one in the fall. In the meantime, I have started a waiting list because, for like, in other words, somebody to fill in if somebody that can't make it on June 11th, and then something changes. So, I already started one. If anybody else would like to be on a waiting list, an alternate, if you will, is to see me as far as that goes. And so, just I do have it started right here. So, as far as I know, until I get a hold of Michelle, who runs this organization, who is taking the payments for the beginners class online through their websites and whatnot, that there may be some people that may have been interested. We haven't heard from them as far as that goes. But anyhow, that always can happen. You never know between now and June as far as that goes. Now, as far as I am completely with everybody that's a member, as far as that goes. Even though you don't want to see me turn green and get mad, it was the other way around. You get mad and then turn green. But no, I'm not going to do that. I could use some instructors or some help with the instruction end of the June 11th beginners class. And we also need people who can mentor. If you styled at least 2 trees in your lifetime, you could be a mentor. Okay, right? When you say that, you got it. And that's not counting the one that you do. So, at any rate, we could use some mentors, since there's going to be 30 beginners. It would be nice to have 30 mentors. That doesn't
15.
happen. But 15 would be good, because it's easy enough to handle 2 people at the same time. You just basically tell somebody, go work on your pot, and I'll help you trim this. And then the next time they trim whatever. So you get creative. Of course, we're in a creative hobby, so you can figure it out. It's really easy to do, and it's good relationships. Start relationships with some of the beginners and get them to come back. Maybe even join. And who knows what happens from there? Next thing you know, you've been giving them,
Are you
position
gonna,
or what? Or
yeah.
what's that?
Are you going to pass that sheet around?
Oh, I
tonight?
will.
Okay.
The other thing is, because I've got a nursery and I host a free, called the Williamsburg Garden Artisan Fair. And I've actually been signing up some more people in recent days to come out and set up. It doesn't cost anything for anybody to get there. But one of the things that we try to do is have some representation, just like down at the Crone for the beginners class, and showing people about the inside. Let's have some people bring some trees, set up in my barn in the shade. You never know what June's going to bring, so you don't have to worry about umbrellas and stuff. But for the people to come to this fair, it's a spot to be able to showcase what it's always about. So I'm going to pass. There's a sign up for that, and it's on June 4th, which is actually a week before the beginners class. And everybody that gets this, you can have one of these flyers. You take as many as you want. And if you want a bigger one, I've got a bigger one online, and you can take one of these and email me, and I'll send you one. So, in fact, the only reason I was able to make these little flyers is I found out my printer could print 4 on a sheet instead of 1 big sheet. So I was pleased to death. It was an old fart like me I got my computer to do something, and my printer to do something I didn't know it could do. So I'll pass this around, and you guys can go with it from there. That's it. That's it for me.
All right, thank you. I've had difficulty finding copper wire, and I know probably a lot of you have. What John has come up with, he has a kiln.
I work for a heat treatment.
You work for a heat treating company, so he's got a kiln.
I've got a 44-foot long furnace.
So what we're going to do is, if you want to get some copper wire annealed, you can pick it up at like Home Depot or buy it online at Home Depot, just regular copper wire. Then we can get it annealed so that it's easier to use. So just as an FYI, I've checked, I think it was 46 cents. 10 gauge was 47, 12 gauge was 28, and 18 gauge was 13 cents per foot at Home Depot. I didn't check the prices online, but they're similar. They're a lot less. And then we'll get it to John, get it annealed. It only costs you a dozen donuts. We're good to go. So that's something to keep in mind. And we'll get John. Did you want to?
Yeah, I work for Derrick Company on Kellogg Avenue. If anybody knows where the yellow roofed hitching post is at, we're right across the street. We're back off next to the junkyard there. But seriously, if you want to have some wire, be able to call, knock on the door, come by, knock on the door, ask for me, and I'll hook you up. Give us a week to throw it on one of our furnace loads, and then we'll call you when it's ready.
What's the business?
We're a heat treat company, Derek Company.
It doesn't come out bright and shiny. It comes out still with the scales on it, but it's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's not bright, it's not copper colored.
I threw mine in a little vinegar after a while, it gets some of that loose stuff off, maybe a little bit of a brush, but then after that, it's just like a couple of wires. It's already black.
Okay,
Well, one thing nice about the color not being so shiny, it makes it inconspicuous when you use it on a tree.
yeah. Okay, Phil's developing and Laura are developing a new website for us. We're planning on bringing that in June.
June, yes.
So you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. And while, Laura, you want to help, or do you okay to just sit back there?
I'll do that. You did the vast majority of the work.
Okay. So while we were doing the website, we also decided that now would be a good time to revamp the logo. And this is the logo that we came up with. Laura and I were working on it. I think we had, 10 or 12 revisions back and forth between us until we came up with this. And we'll pass it around if you want to take a look at it. And if you're interested, I also have all of the drawings that led up to this. If you're interested in all the different versions that are up here, if you want to take a look.
So you have two different ones here?
Yes. So we use one, like the bottom one, the wide one will be for like letterhead on the website, and the top one will be for things like T-shirts and things where you need a square logo.
Awesome.
So, T-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm a
Love to have some teachers.
Website's moving along pretty well, and I expect as long as we get everything set up with the new web host, that it'll be online right around the 1st of June. And that will also include credit card processing, so you'll be able to pay for workshops and your dues and everything online with your card. All right, Laura, you have anything to add?
No, you've done a great job. You filled out the vast majority of it. So yeah, I kind of just been helping with testing and you design things here or there, so.
I just want to say how amazing it is that you're doing that, how much appreciated it is, because it really is bringing you up to date. And just the whole thing of having the membership online, being able to sign up for workshops online, pay online, finally we're into the.
Thanks. Yeah, we're looking forward to having the site updated and being able to do everything online and not have to track memberships on paper and all that sort of
And
stuff.
all the emails I sent out.
Emails, newsletters, all that will just come from the website.
So the bad news is, we're gonna have to raise the dues to $45. And that's only a $5 increase. The reason is, the processing fees for the dues, or for the credit card transaction, we're gonna have to pay a processing charge. So, it's only being added to the dues, it's not being added to everything else we're gonna use it for. So it'll go up $5. That also, we, incur additional costs for speakers with the transportation, the mileage, and all the other things, it's called inflation. So anyway, the dues are gonna be due in June, and it's gonna be $45 this year. So, anyway, that's the downside. Sorry about that, but
When was the last time the dues were raised?
I think it's been 10 years since we've raised dues.
At
At least 10 years.
I thought you were going to tell us what gas prices were higher.
Well, they are.
They are.
That too.
Last time we raised the dues, it was $1.29 a gallon. That's when I started driving, it was 69 cents a gallon. That was 30 years ago. Couple more, Chris. We also have, the Saturday session is all sold out. If anyone's interested in individual lessons tomorrow, see me after this, and we'll get some information together for you. So,
If you get too many people, I'll stay home.
no, because you're bringing the table.
Yeah, well.
Okay, are there any other comments, questions from the floor? Yes.
Just wanted to mention the May workshop is, there will be an email about that. As usual, you can
Yeah.
email me to sign up for that until we get the website signed up.
Yeah, I'll send that out first part of May,
And
and it is,
that presenter is Young Cho, and she does Kusamono, I believe, among other things. And I'm just going to ask Judy to talk about that a little bit, because she has taken workshops for her.
I'll make it really, really short. She's good. Young Cho is actually originally from Korea, but has studied in Japan. Kusamono means grass thing. There are all those interesting things that you see standing by themselves. If you use them with bonsai, the correct term is shirakusa, but that sounds a little bit funky. So, sort of, well, we don't like that. Anyway, she is very talented. She has led many workshops. I would really suggest that you go to her website and look at pictures of what she has done. And she has worked at the Arboretum in a different capacity, but has many of her plantings at the National Arboretum, and had quite a display of things that she pulled in from people from different parts of the United States at the national show. So she is a true professional, lots of fun, very good to work with on workshops, and I think you'll find her very knowledgeable and very professional.
And so there will be Thursday demonstration with regular meeting,
Right.
correct? And then the workshop is going to be on Friday? We'll get the details out to you
yeah,
about
well,
it.
I'll get the details, but yeah, I think it was the
Just
Friday.
it might
It's
fill
gonna
up
be a
quick,
Friday.
so.
Yeah, because she had to be someplace that
Gotcha.
Saturday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Friday evening?
No, Friday
okay.
during the day.
And if you want to see an example of a kusamono, there's one at the curve that Judy made. Beautiful.
Okay.
While you're volunteering for the butterfly
While you're
show.
volunteering for the butterfly.
Okay, that was a long meeting. Tonight's speaker is Mark Fields from Indianapolis. I think you've been here before, and he's a great designer, primarily junipers.
Primarily, the most that I do about anything, I work on big trees, small trees, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I wouldn't call me I told Paul that somebody Ryan Neal was doing a podcast and told someone that Mark Fields is an expert in ficus. I'm not an expert in ficus, but I do know about ficus. That doesn't make me an expert, because I've grown them just like most other people who do bonsai. But yeah, I do about anything. Right now I'm specializing in more shohin sized trees, little trees, more like one up there. But yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. If I know about it, I'll work on it. If I don't, find somebody else. Well, I was going to have you pick out a tree, whatever you want me. They're all pretty much alike, but if somebody wants to pick one out for me to do.
Bob, you're back there.
Yeah, pick one out, Bob.
You're paying
Any of them
for
you
it,
want,
Bob.
and I'll work on it. Yeah, perfect. That's it. That'll take me about 10 minutes.
Yeah, but we know where.
They all look good, so.
Yeah. And
That one?
We'll also be sending around the, raffle tickets, $6 for $5, $1 piece, and we'll have Mark pull the winner for the tree at the end of the program.
Did he choose wisely?
It doesn't matter. We'll make something nice out of it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
These all have great trunks on them. I picked them up at Brussels a couple weeks ago because I've been buying them from in the past few years, and they've had some fairly nice ones with bigger trunks on them, but I was looking for more shohin size stuff. And I got a hold of him a couple weeks ago, and he said, yeah, we just took a bunch of them out in production, and we've twisted them up and fed them well, and they're ready to sell. And he says, Bjorn's been down here and bought 100 of them already. So I said, well, I'll be down in 2 days. So I was like, that was a Tuesday. I went down on a Thursday and grabbed them, and man, I was not disappointed. So I ended up buying 40 of them, and I'll probably have to go back and buy more. They are amazing. I mean, if you can see, I don't know if you saw them back there, I mean, look at the trunk. Great stuff. So I've got a lot of workshops planned with these. I've actually taken some up to, I have to leave Monday, go up to Rochester, New York to do a workshop for Bill Valvanus and a demonstration just like this with the same material. So we'll get started. These are itoigawa variety of shimpaku. They're known for that really lime green foliage, the new growth on them. Time's up. I'll go sit down. They start really easy for cuttings. I've got hundreds of them started at home. They're the most desirable because they stay more compact than most of the shimpaku. I've got regular shimpaku back there in 1 gallon pots, and you can kind of see the difference in the color of the foliage for one thing. There's another variety I use a lot, is Kishu. Kishu is more of a blue-green color rather than the lime green. I just really like this variety. This is my favorite. So I'm not even starting any cuttings of Kishu anymore because I like these so well.
How old is this, do you think?
They're about 6 years old from a cutting. So
Really blessed,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So I've got some 6-year-olds that almost this size right now that I put curls in too. So they're coming up. Yes. Pardon me? It's the Shimpaku itoigawa. It's a variety called itoigawa. itoigawa. I've been working a lot of these. I've been working some others as well. But yeah, these, like I said, these are just exactly, I couldn't have ordered anything any better from him. So, but he's trying to get some really nice stuff in for the convention coming up. Speaking of which, the ABS convention, is anybody going to that? Down at Olive, I don't see any hands. Come on. Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Is that going to be at the conference center, or are they?
You remember where they used to hold it years ago?
The rendezvous, you mean?
Yeah, where they used to hold it at the, and this is called Rendezvous on the River.
Yeah.
So same thing. Brussels pretty much running the show still, but it's at Whispering Woods, which used to be the Holiday Inn years ago. That I'm talking 20, probably more than that, 30 years ago. He used to have the workshops and the lectures there, and yeah. So anyway.
But they're not going.
Yeah, they are going.
Brussels for
They
summer.
are. So that's why I asked him about. So on Friday night, he's still having the. He's going to have the bluegrass band there, over at his nursery in that warehouse. They're going to clear out the warehouse, put seating there. They're still going to do a demo, and Robert Stephen from Indonesia is going to be there. I just talked to him on Monday or Sunday, I guess it was. Yeah, he's going to be there, and I believe he's going to do a demo that night. So that ought to be really interesting because he'll have his pick of anything he wants to mess with. But yeah, it promises to be a really, really good show. The facility is amazing. I mean, they've got an auditorium where we'll have speakers, the lectures, and lots of breakout rooms, and a really nice. It's going to be an exhibition that is worthy of Robert Stephen. He does things kind of really wild, right? I mean, really strange looking compositions and stuff. So he's urging everybody to do that. So because he's going to be judging the show, right? So I'm already thinking about what to do. I've been trying to think about what to do. So I think I'm going to do a Shohin composition. I'm going to make the stand out of pipe and tread plate for the Jita. And then I've got a candlestick that my wife has that's made out of a motorcycle transmission. So it looks like a little root stand off the side, right? So I'm gonna do it up that way. I'm gonna use the traditional pots. I wish I had some metal pots or hubcaps or something like that to put in, but I'll go with what I have. I'm not used to that. My wife calls me a purist because I studied in Japan. I studied exhibiting trees in Japan, studied Japanese books. It's just not something I want to do, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Not something I want. So we'll see how it works. But I really urge everyone to go. Registrations are finally rolling in pretty well now. There for a while, it was everybody was going to be required to wear a mask, and that's not the case now. So we had a lot of people not going because of that. So
Well, if they were going to have it, in Brussels warehouse, like the rendezvous
Oh, yeah.
usually is, that's kind of a non-starter.
a little different, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the warehouse and the pig roast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
So anyway, it promises to be a really good event, and
Question about your process.
yes,
When you look at that tree, do you see the end result?
Yes.
Or do you discover it incrementally?
no, I see the end result. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to figure out how much gin I want to keep. I'm going to make some shari going down the trunk. So right now I'm looking at, I turned the tree around because I'm looking at the front of the tree right now, but I'm also looking at other angles to see what the best position to see all the movement in. So I'm still thinking it kind of puts the trunk in back, but we can also change the angle on the tree as well. So
You've already got your whole trunk line and branches
yeah,
already figured out?
yeah.
Really haven't even looked at it or?
No, and that's the good thing about these. There's branches everywhere, so you just kind of pick what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. And I know I'll put some, like I said, the gin and shari is the important part right now, trying to figure out where to put all that. So I'm going to cut some of these lower branches off. Those will be gin coming down. Does anybody want these cuttings? Like I said, they start really easy. I'll make a pile of them here, and normally people do that. They'll raise their hands for cuttings, but they won't raise their hands for going to. So I'm just going to pile them here. And while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and cut some of these other ones off the tops back so you guys can have those too.
Now, you've touched these, so that guarantees they'll grow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Look at all those cuttings. Okay. Bunch of cuttings.
I'll do some for everybody else.
So there's that. So that. That back around that way. Okay, now I've got it figured out.
So the pieces you cut off, those aren't necessarily, you're not necessarily giving up those branches, some of it is just.
Oh yeah, I'm just cutting the tips off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't hurt a thing to do that. It gets some of the stuff out of my way so I can wire it a little easier too. Is there a trash can I can start putting stuff in rather than putting it on the floor? I'll try to keep a neat workplace. Oh, am I supposed to have that on?
It's on.
It's on, okay.
You're live.
All right. I didn't do it. Okay, there's that. Yeah. Okay. Perfect, thank you. Right now I'm going to clean up the trunk line a little bit, get rid of the stuff in the crotches, get rid of the stuff I know I don't need. So little stuff along the trunk line. And then it'll start to take shape here in a little bit. branch. Now we're gonna kill the whole thing. And any questions you have, just go ahead, because I kind of get in the zone here. And I don't talk much. It's not that I can't go ahead and talk to you.
Can you just say a little bit about the branches that you are eliminating completely?
Yeah.
Why those are being taken off?
Yeah, all I'm doing is trying to find anything that's going, so this one, you can see it's kind of going, taking off and going in its own direction apart from the curvy trunk, right? So it's too straight for me. I've got plenty of other stuff to mess with, so I'm going to get rid of this, and you'll see here in a few minutes exactly what I'm going to do with it. So.
Mark, I noticed you have a farmer's market on the weekends.
Who does?
Do you?
Not me.
I think I might have set one up.
Scott did. Scott Yelich in Indy. He does, I don't know when he does them. Paul, where are you anyway? There he is. When does he do those? Do you know? Mooresville? Okay.
I guess you just have a greenhouse then? You just have like a greenhouse?
I have a greenhouse and 2 huts. So a heated greenhouse and 2 huts that I make shade huts during the summertime, and they are, I put white poly over them for the winter, and I don't heat them. So.
You don't really need to put anything in the ground then, you just have it in the huts for winter?
Right, yeah. I put, well, the huts, I put everything on the ground, the winter huts, so everything goes on the ground. But yeah, I don't bury them or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This tree's from Mississippi? Is that right?
This is grown, yeah, down in Brussels in Mississippi.
What's the different zones? Like, whenever you can turn up here, piece of juniper, so it's right up his nails, but is it like something to keep in mind it's going to be overwintered outside? Or?
Yeah, they just leave them sit outside all winter long. So if you go down in the middle of winter, they're brown and kind of a bronze color because that's their winter color. But you know, right now they've brightened up so much since I brought them home a couple weeks ago even. So it's just amazing how much color they've gotten back.
I mean, are they in the same zone as those?
No, they're not. They're in zone. What do you think? 6 or 7?
They're actually just outside of Memphis. They're, you know, when you hear them say Mississippi, you think you're heading.
Yeah, it's just.
It's, you know,
Yeah.
just probably, what, 10 miles out of.
Yeah, it's
out
not
of,
very far.
Memphis.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, if you were thinking of driving there from here, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it takes 7 hours from my house in the south side of Indy, so
Yeah.
it's not a bad drive.
Drop down to Nashville and then
Yeah.
shoot right across to Memphis.
Yes.
So, and hope that some idiot hasn't lost his boat in the middle of the highway and backed it up for 2 hours.
I had good luck the last time I went down, but I have run into that
Have you
before,
run
yes.
into
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
There's some idiot with a pontoon boat
Yeah,
crosswise.
I've seen semis turned over, campers
Yeah.
obliterated. That's what I was going to just explain. So this is gin pliers. So you notice they don't close flat; they keep open at the top. I've got regular pliers in there too. So I'm crushing the bark, just softening it up, and I'll show you why I do that. And luckily, this time of year, it works really well. If you do this in the wintertime, you got to peel it with a knife, but with this, it'll just slough right off. So And I'm just killing this branch here, just killing it completely. So it just creates that illusion, because what I like to do in bonsai is create the illusion of age, so.
It's so satisfying when that bark comes off like that.
You know, when it's dry, it's impossible. It's like,
Yeah, it comes off really easy right now, so.
well, with the flip side of that is when you twist it, it comes off real easy too.
Yes, yep.
You need to be a little careful at this time of the year, you know, putting some serious English in those phrases.
Would raffia prevent that?
What?
Raffia, if you wrapped a branch with raffia this time of year and wired it and bent it, would it prevent that
Yeah.
separation?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's pretty much any time of year. I use raffia on bigger branches on trees that I know they're going to break or may snap. Not on everything.
I think you have to wrap it really tight, you know, if you think you're going to keep it separated. Because
Yeah.
it's really slippery this time of year.
Sorry, I'm trying to carve this shari down the trunk here. And I try to let it find its own path, so I'll pull on the bark, the loose bark. I'll start it, pull on it, and it'll find its own path down the tree. So, and it's doing a pretty good job of it. But sorry, I have to kind of stand in the way to do that. Or
Get a good shot of your back.
okay, there we go. Is that better? A little bit. If you get a camera right here, then you can see. We have that in our club now. We got person hand holds the camera and gets right up in it. I saw Jennifer has she already been here this year?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she got a hold of me the other day. I have to go up and do 2 days private with her private lesson because she's not familiar with maple culture. So she wants me to help her with that.
Tell her to come down when all the maples need,
Yeah.
plucking or,
I don't know. She's so busy traveling. I'm glad I'm not in her shoes because I would not want to do all she's doing. I travel just enough, if not a little too much more than I want. But man, she's everywhere.
well, that's a pattern that, you know, people
Oh, I know.
starting out.
Right, you kind of have to do that. Yeah.
And as soon as they can get away from it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's usually when they finally have their own place, but I don't see her ever really doing that. She has her own little collection, but I don't think she'll ever have a nursery. She lives about 2 blocks away from
Jack.
Hidden Gardens, which is nice. So she overwinters her trees there and takes any workshops available if she's in town. And okay, now you can kind of see what I did with that. See the shari coming down?
So connecting the gin branch with the
Yep.
line coming down.
Uh-huh. And then I got a couple little gins I'm going to put in here, and then I'll start wiring the tree.
You take the shari all the way down.
I like to, just on junipers most definitely, I like to do that. It just, again, it creates that little better illusion of age. It doesn't hurt the juniper at all. They can lose up to 70% of their live vein or live material, live living tissue, and still reroute its vascular flow in order to make it survive. So they're crazy resilient.
Is there any concern with the dead wood below the soil?
Do what? Sorry?
Is there any concern with the dead wood below there?
Not on junipers, no. later on, but not right now.
I've seen a few big old trees, and I think the shari is referred to as ribbon, where it's kind of flat and thin.
There's a ribbon trunk. Is that what you're talking about? Where
Yeah,
they
where like
have two live veins and then the woods in between, right?
Or just a big.
Or just a big, yeah.
row of
Uh-huh.
wood and one live vein.
Yep.
How does that grow? What's the process of that?
It just keeps adding on to that outside.
To the
Yeah.
outside,
Uh-huh.
and then, but it doesn't, the trunk doesn't necessarily seem to get super big and thick, and then.
No. It'll just be that one vein, and sometimes it'll get a little bit larger, but yeah. It's usually just the one live vein that's left on the tree, and it'll just continue to grow from that live vein and keep on expanding, and it'll die back and die back and die back and keep on moving to the outside. It does. Yep. Yeah.
Figure that one out.
Uh-huh.
Keep cutting it back on that backside to get the ribbon to develop.
To do it artificially? Yes. Yeah, you could clean all of it off and just leave a live vein. The quicker way to do it is find a piece of dead wood and route it out, follow the flow of the flow of the wood, but route it out and then find a similar side whip and push it into that channel. And I nail it in with brass nails or copper nails. I've got a few of them done that way, and it works really well. It's called Tanuki or Phoenix graft. Okay.
If you see damage like that on bigger trees, usually lightning.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're trying to emulate when you create these. So, especially in junipers, because they are, a lot of them are higher in the mountains, and they're going to get, if they've got any height at all, they've been hit by lightning and knocked back, and you've got the, part of the trunk blown out or whatever. It's just.
Have you ever worked with a bristle cone?
Yes.
Is it
Yes.
substantially different?
Yes, a little bit. They like to stay drier, for one thing. A lot of people think, have you ever seen the needles on one? Looks like they have scale.
Why did they get a
And I've known-
sticky, kind of a, is that something that exudes? Or what?
Those little spots do not. But yeah, I've known people throw them away because they thought they had scale. So.
Some of those bristle cones, it seems like they're standing like living fossils, they don't rot.
Oh, that's right, the wood. Yeah, they're also in an area that stays very dry. So that helps a lot too. And I think I'm gonna make another gin here. I'll take some more cuttings here for people.
Is your nursery open to the public with supplies? Is that by appointment?
By appointment because of this. I'm gone a lot
Yeah.
and just never know when I'm around. I have, I call them my apprentice. They're students of mine that are there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And they're generally working on my trees, and sometimes I'll bring their own trees. Like one of my, the Wednesday guy brought his own trees in yesterday and worked on them.
And you have supplies such as soil?
Yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, I'm usually there Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Now next week I won't be. I'll be in New York, but thereafter I will be fine. Yeah, I was just getting the moss off the trunk. Yeah. Yeah, they stay super moist, so you get that the moss keeps creeping up the trunk.
Well, given the work on the upper story of the tree,
Mhm.
the branching and everything, now it's going to really be pulling a lot less moisture from that great big
Root ball, right.
that it's been
So-
bringing, but it's really not usually wise to go ahead and repot
Right.
right after all this work. What would you say for aftercare?
I'd leave it in here until next year, next fall, or whatever.
Excavate out
Yeah.
some of the
You could, but you don't even need to do that. They'll be fine. They will only use the roots that they need. They don't, if that part will die off if they don't need it. So it's not like we.
Likely to be, what should I say, going to stay rather wet though, because you're not really going to be pulling the.
As long as the soil is drained well, then you don't have to really worry about that. So Brussels stays, his soil drains well as long as you keep it moist. If you don't, he waters 5-6 times a day down there. So I'll bring stuff home and I only water once or twice a day. And in the summertime, sometimes it will dry out pretty badly and I have to resaturate it. And sometimes it's almost impossible. I've lost trees. So whenever I bring stuff home from Brussels, except for these, white pines, other pines, even at the rendezvous in May, I'll come home and repot them, put them in Akadama mix. Now his mix has gotten better. He started using more. It's his haydite, so it's a white. Looks like pumice to me, but it's his haydite, the local haydite. So that has it's helped a lot because he has lost a lot of trees by keeping pines too wet for one thing. So he's still learning too. Whenever he get the stuff in from Japan, I would go down there and repot it, put it in my soil. Like right after he got them in, he'd pot them up. I'd go down and figure out what I want, pay for them, and then I would repot them into the blend. So it's an Akadama blend, so it's got Akadama, Kiryu, Hyuga, and a little bit of Fuji River sand in it. It's just what I use. I like the Aki blend is my favorite. It's got the least waste, has about 3 more liters per bag than most of the Akadama blends out there, and it lasts really well. It's good and clean. More expensive, but it is the best.
Because I would say with this, if you put it, you know, do the same watering regimen on this as things that are in bonsai pots in a well-draining mix, it's going to be too wet.
Yeah, it is wet, but they have done fine in this for a year, you know, so I'm not really worried. They just put them in these pots last year, so they moved from 4-inch to 1 gallon. You can see the 1 gallon root ball to these. So you could take this out, shake the roots off, put it in a better drain mix, and it'll be fine. It's not going to hurt it. Yeah, because if you pretty well in there. Yeah, so well rooted. So you could work those roots down and stuff like that. It's not going to hurt it.
No, with it being that well rooted,
Yeah.
you know, it should take up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. Well, I know people who do it. And the bad thing about juniper is, I don't know if you guys have had any problem with it down here. I have Phomopsis.
Yeah, I was going to say fungus.
Yes, it's the fungus that starts the tips, and the whole branch will die and it'll spread to your other trees. He had it all over his junipers last year. I went down and bought a bunch of them, and I could see it, and I went ahead and treated it. He didn't even have any idea what it was. So he's got a guy that in there now. I just asked him about why his stuff looks so good. He says, well, I took your advice and hired a guy just to do spraying, and that's it. So yeah, he comes here and checks things out, finds something, he sprays it. So he is, pardon me? Oh, Mancozeb is what I use, but you can use copper, you can use caprodacinil mix, you can use there's several different fungicides. I don't use the same one 2 years in a row because the fungus will get used to it. That's the same with any pesticide too. I don't use the same one year after year. Yeah, this is going to look pretty cool. I got another really nice shari here.
Are there any pests right now you're looking at in your greenhouses that you might see, start to think about?
Pardon me?
Are there any pests in the greenhouse right now or in the field you're noticing you're going to start treating for?
What have I seen? I pulled some indoor stuff out today, and I did have a little bit of scale on some of them on my olives. And that's easy to treat and get rid of it. A little bit comes on there every year. But yeah, not bad this year. I got a little bit of pine Dothostroma fungus going on. on trees that weren't mine last year. They were trees I acquired from other states, other areas over the past winter. So as they're waking up, that dothostroma is starting to take. So I have sprayed them. I even sprayed them when they came in, but still some of them got it. So yeah, I'm in the process of trying to get rid of that. So there's the other. See that? So we've got a shari on both sides. Very interesting. All right, so we will wire these two. Well, we won't. I will. Wire these two here once I start wiring everything else. To make sure I've got everything I need. Clean up a little bit more and then we'll start wiring.
What percentage would you say you've removed?
Of what?
60 to 70?
Oh, probably 40%.
That's it?
Yeah. Maybe 50. You may take more off? It's not my tree. No, it'll be perfectly fine. I do this all the time. And I have no idea what they look like after I leave, so.
Hey, Mark,
Yes.
you might want to just tell us it's a perfectly healthy tree, and if it was out in the yard and some big branch fell off another tree and stomped on it, and you had to clean it off, it still survived.
Yeah,
All you do it nicely.
that is true. I don't have to tell them because you just did. So, what he said.
Mark, the twist in the trunk.
Yes.
Is that natural? Or
No,
man-made?
nah, it's man-made. Yeah, they wrap copper wire, and some of them still, I've noticed some of them still have the wire embedded in it, which is a perfectly acceptable method. They do it in Japan all the time. In fact, most of the white pines that you get that are grafted on black pine, you know, they will all have a wire embedded in that thick, big old thick trunk on it, so. And I forgot to take a before picture. I always forget to do that. Yeah, well, yeah, I could just take one of those, here's before, and that's true. Yeah, good. Yeah, I know I can do that.
That was just his back.
I did put one more gin on this branch up here because I didn't need all that foliage. Anybody familiar with these scorps? They work so good. I love them. I use them all the time. So they're a little, I'll pass one around. They're great. Yeah, flex cut. So they're really good about, you know, you can take it and scrape down, you know, and hollow out a small area. Yeah, pass that around. It works fantastic.
Yeah, that would be a trick.
Sorry, since I made another gin, I've got to take a little bit more shari down the trunk here.
Those also come in a V shape, a V cut. I think that's a U groove that you passed around.
Yeah.
Scorpion.
Yeah.
They also come in a V, which is really good for getting the, creating the fine line from the live veins to the dead.
Yep. Where is that? I'm going to trade you because I need that one to go. I've got a right and a left.
Neither am I.
So I'm going to need that one for this one. I got to a point where I couldn't get my hand the right way. So Okay, that's better. There we go. That's what I wanted. And we'll just stop it right there. All right. Hawaii was wonderful. I want to go back. Yeah, I did visit. I don't know if anybody's heard of Fuku Bonsai on the Big Island. Have you ever been there? You're laughing, so you know what I know.
I don't know if well, it was years ago, but, you know, we thought we were gonna get mugged, we got out of there and went over.
It's a mess.
It is a mess.
There was a van parked there when I first drove up. I don't know if it was parked there when you were there. It's a blue van with ferns growing out of the tires and moss growing out of the windows and up on the top. It hadn't been moved in years, so all this stuff was growing on it. It was just. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it has a nice little marker and
Yeah.
everything that says, you know, like this is historic, or, you know, this is a place you want to visit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's on the map. I mean, it's there. And it is.
Well, my husband thought I was going to hang
Oh,
it
it's,
out.
exactly. No, my wife, we didn't see a mosquito till we got there, okay? Because we were staying with her friend. Her best friend lives in Hilo. She's a wildlife, she and her husband were both wildlife biologists there. Which, what a great place to be a wildlife biologist, right? But, wow. And he knew I was coming, and he wanted to talk to me. And I wanted to do like an interview for the ABS magazine. I don't think I'm going to do one. He was just such, everybody said, oh, he's just super nice. You'll love hanging out with him. It's like, no. Because the first thing he said, I want to talk to you about something. He says, and you're part of the problem, like in my face. He says, you guys go to Japan and you learn all these secrets and then you don't want to teach anybody. You've got them locked up here and you don't want to teach anybody what you're doing. It's like, how do you find, oh, I know how they do. He says, they slide little envelopes under your door every night and tell you a new secret and tell you not to tell anybody. So I know you've got all these secrets. I said, that's way far from, no, I know, you're not told to tell anything about it. It's like, no. That's,
You know, years ago, it was a scary place, and, you know, we drove in, and he said, I'm not stopping.
yeah.
Circle and throw it right back out again. And, you know, then I got that look like, what the hell are you up to?
Yeah. Oh.
So it's like, oh, sorry, you know, it's, but this guy's supposed to be, you know, the authority of tropical books.
Yeah.
Scared the dickens out of the two of us.
Exactly. Yeah. I was supposed to stay for lunch. I didn't even stay for lunch. I said, I got to go. I got other things to do. So.
The answer is, I have children out of your.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad that you had that experience too.
Oh, and this was years ago.
Yeah.
You want to take a 15-minute break?
Yeah.
Before you start wiring?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it won't take.
Why don't we take a short break?
It won't take long to wire at all. So.
Buy tickets, raffle tickets. Right, and before he starts wiring, you can all come take a look at it.
Yeah.
We'll get a close up with the. So yeah, we'll take a brief break. 6 for 10 or 6 for 5.
You know, place it is fun.
I know, right?
Well, yeah, we've all been under a rock
Exactly,
with,
yeah.
you know, the germs.
But you know what? I liked that year at home. I got
Yeah.
so much done with my
Well,
trees.
that's what everybody said. You know,
Oh, it was fantastic. And more people came to me and they got a wad of money because they haven't been at conventions and just peeling off cash. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is great.
Yeah.
Can I do this all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
for
was
sure.
fantastic. Sorry. Man.
He's all the way down in Fort Myers. Yeah, is he that far? Yeah.
Oh, no problem. I enjoy it. I'm just so used to doing it every day. You know, it's really no big deal.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you're deranged. Come back, I'll come back to this. They're really hot. Come back and go sit for a tropical like this.
How you doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing well.
Except it's too far away. Yeah, it's kind of a long plane ride. For the, I need to retype it. No, it was for both sides, but, it wouldn't be that hard to do one. It's a parallel universe if you want, right? All the society, shows, codes, and it's, which I didn't go to because my son was visiting and it was snowing. Yeah. But there used to be more, vendors at shows.
How long would you keep the wire off?
2 years.
2 years?
And even if it cuts in a little bit, I let it stay. I don't mind. I try to make it that 2 years. Because if they do scar up, you can close that scar up. They'll heal up in about 2 years. But it also helps hold the branch right where it is. Oh, next year you can do that. Yeah, this time next year you can be doing that. This looks like Jim Grimmel wire. And he is definitely not doing that anymore. Did you know that? You know Jim Grimmel? Have you heard of him? Yeah, I actually got a bill back in January from his brother. Said they're going through his stuff. And they found an envelope full of checks from the U.S. National Exhibition. Never cashed. From 2016. So I had to make out a new check for him. So. How's Lucia?
Pardon me?
asking her. She moved, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
She got mad at me because I'd been working there every Thursday, like all summer long, into the fall. I even went there when she wasn't there and got stuff done for her. And then she called me and she said, I want you to come put my trees up. I said, I can't do that. And my back and everything else. She said, well, I need him to put them up. I said, I can't. I just don't. I don't even put my own trees up. I have a crew come over and do it. And she said, well, what am I going to do? I said, I don't know. And I gave her a couple names over in the area. But yeah, she hasn't spoken to me since.
Yeah, I have, what should I say, I have no explanation. She just, flies, crazy.
Yeah.
And, she calls me the planner. And I wish I'd take it as a compliment. Yeah.
We got along really good that whole summer. I mean, I was out there working on her trees every Thursday.
I think that, she was in kind of like overload or
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
And finally, I don't know what got to her, but, not,
It just surprised me that she wouldn't respond to me at all. I don't get it. So
I don't know.
it's fine.
I never did try to figure it out. I figured there was.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe not.
no, that makes sense. So
Some things are not knowable,
no, I know.
and, so, that's,
And I don't want to call her and say, hey, what's wrong? Are you pissed? No.
no. I never know which way the wind is blowing, so,
Yeah.
Just stay out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it was during the year when Ted passed away. So
Exactly.
I was
Did,
over there all the time. So yeah.
Well, I don't know, he left things in pretty much of a mess.
Oh my gosh. She was even surprised. I mean, she was
Yeah.
blown away by some of the prices of the cars. She had no idea. None.
Well, they're expensive.
Oh my gosh, they were the expensive. She found out. I mean,
Yeah, but then, those are not things that are just easily
no, they're not.
marketed and
Right.
and taken care of and all the rest of it. And,
Right.
It's, and I don't know, how you bring somebody up to speed quickly who's
Right.
never had any business experience.
Right. I felt for her, and I was willing to help her with anything but putting away those trees. I just couldn't, because again, I explained to her, I don't even do that myself.
I don't know, she just expects that a fairy godmother is going
Yeah.
to appear and.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I truly don't even know how she got them put away. The guys that I'd suggested to her, she never even got a hold of. So she probably had like her landscapers or somebody do it.
I have no idea. I figure it's better not to ask.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Curious maybe, but,
Okay, she has Mario.
I don't know. She's had some, she's been to it.
Yeah, so on deadwood, when you take the bark off of it, and it's really soft and pliable, but again, if you wait a week, you'll snap the wood. It'll dry out that quickly. So it's best to, when you're styling the tree, to go ahead and do it. So I'll show you why I put the wire on it. See, we can create some really interesting curls on them. See? Tighten those up a little bit.
Would you use a product to kind of seal the deadwood in?
Pardon me?
Would you use like something to kind of seal that deadwood in so it
Later on, you can put lime sulfur on it. It's not necessarily, I don't really use lime sulfur on the trees unless I'm going to show it. Okay, but you can, absolutely can.
But you would wait to put that on?
Yes.
Until it dries?
Yeah, have to wait till it dries for sure. So you have to wait a few months for it to dry out completely. Then you can hit it with it. So. It's much easier to bend this stuff with pliers. So. Wrong way with it. Much nicer. Okay.
What's the new World of Bonsai thing that you have online?
I don't know. They just tell me what to put on there, and that's what I do. It's I don't know. I haven't talked to the guy. He's been wanting to schedule time to talk to me about it. Bonsai Worldwide or something like that.
That just popped up.
Yeah, and I don't know what Pauline and Frank's doing, but I'll watch and find out. I don't know. He really isn't explaining.
Paywall protected.
It's about $150 for a year right now.
It's what?
It's $150 for the year.
Really?
And so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It,
I thought you were putting a decimal point in there.
Brian Myers is the guy that keeps getting a hold of me about it. I think is his name. I don't know that much about it. He's tried to corner me a couple times. Again, I just haven't had time to sit down and talk to him about it. So.
That's, yeah, I say, he's figuring to compete with Bonsai Empire.
Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know, it's like,
So.
really?
Yeah, I haven't committed to anything, and I'm sure that's what he wants to talk to me about. And it's about teaching, so I don't know. I guess I need to talk to some other people about it, like Pauline and Frank and those guys, because I just don't know.
I think Jennifer has something up there.
Oh, she does? I'll talk to her about it then. Yeah, it definitely caught me by surprise when he got a hold of me. Yeah. I don't know, there's another guy I know named Brian Myers that I didn't really want to talk to, and I thought that's who it was, so I tried to ignore it for a little bit, and then he started talking about bonsai. I said, oh, okay, it's a different Brian Myers. So I'll talk to him, maybe. But I haven't, again, I still haven't talked to him. So.
Isn't there, show at the Chicago Botanic Garden this midday?
There's one in mid-May. It's actually the same weekend as the one in the All Michigan show, and that's the one I do.
Say that again, the what, Michigan?
All Michigan show, it's in Grand Rapids.
Oh, it's at Meyer.
The same weekend, yeah, at Meyer Gardens. Yep. That's the one I always do. It's always a really good show for me, so I don't want to miss that.
different from the azaleas in bloom?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's over at the Mathai.
yeah, so the Mathai.
Folks, we're running low, but we do have a few tickets left.
How are we on time? Oh, we're good.
Got half an hour.
We're good, okay.
Take all the time you need. I think we're all enthralled.
Okay. Or asleep, one of the two.
Do you have any comments about leaving the little growing tips on the
Yeah,
juniper?
so I will leave some growing tips on here that I'm not going to trim back. That helps it recover much quicker, much better, much healthier for the tree, so.
Put a little do not pinch sign there?
Yeah, never pinch a juniper, I can tell you that. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, don't pinch a juniper ever. Junipers aren't made, you're supposed to cut them. And how I learned that, I was in Belgium studying with Danny Hughes. And he brought this huge shimpaku in, rolled it in on a dolly, and said, it was obvious, it was in April 2009, and he had just tons of trees that needed taken care of. So I went over and helped him for 2 weeks. He brought this in, and I immediately start, grab the tips and I start pulling them up. And he went, "What are you doing?" I said, "Pinching your juniper." Never pinch a juniper. If you're going to do that, go back home. It's like, and then he explained why. So, and the reason was that when you're pinching a juniper, you're pinching and pulling, and you're causing cellular damage back behind where you're pinching. Okay. So you're smashing it and then you're pulling it. So it'll die back farther. If you use a sharp pair of scissors, you're just cutting and you only get that little part that you cut die back, and that's it. So I said, but Bill Val Vance put that in all the in his magazines. He said, yeah, it was mistranslated many years ago, and it needs to be straightened out. So I've been spent pretty much ever since I came back explaining to people why they shouldn't be doing it. So.
Wasn't Danny over for the 2008?
He was,
Yeah.
for the MABA.
Yeah, in Indy.
Only time he's been over here. And he is on Facebook now. When I was over there, they said, don't take any pictures and don't make any Facebook posts. Man, they're on there 3-4 times a day, showing everything. They were afraid people would come steal their stuff, if you saw it, so. I didn't take any pictures. I took pictures. I never shared one of them. Never posted any of them. So yeah, I would love to go back again sometime, but I don't have the time now. So just like I'd like to go back to Japan, but I had to do that during the winter time. I want to go back to Hawaii, but that wouldn't be for bonsai. I did a little bit over there. A couple of her neighbor, my wife's friend's neighbors had some, and one guy in particular, he's been working on a chef lyra from Fuku. So I've been helping him virtually with that, and it's actually looking really good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There's not a heck of a lot you can do with except for that.
No, that's why I told him. He said just cut it back and let it grow, and then keep pinching it back to keep it compact, and that's really all you can do to him. So he was afraid to cut it back, and I said, trust me, just cut it back. I said in a couple weeks you'll have buds everywhere, and he did. He got on me this week. He says it just exploded when he cut it back. He's had it for a couple of years. A friend of his threw it over the fence in his backyard, and that's how he got it. So it's a good way to get it.
I'm sure it's not the first one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it was in a big lava rock, and that thing stood. He had it in a cart, and it probably stood this tall. So it was massive, completely engulfed that rock. So.
Well, they're very strict about things coming into
Oh,
Hawaii.
tell me about it. Yeah.
Well, no, it's a lot easier going out.
Yeah.
But,
We have to go through a thing.
well, if they still put stickers up, well, that's usually because you're going through California
Yeah.
on your way. And
California
Absolute,
is not easy either.
extremely, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want anything coming in there.
But you would think that they could, you know, deal with a whole crazy bunch of ficus.
Yeah.
You know, grow any of that stuff.
So what he wants to do now is, he said his goal, and well, how old is he? He has to be in his 80s, right? I mean, he's way up there. He wants to start 5,000 cuttings of Scheffler a month, put them in the lava rocks, and sell them at all the QVC stores, CVS drugstores all over the United States. How are you going to do that? And he's got another product that he's developed that he doesn't want me to discuss at all, so I won't. That he hopes to market all over the world. I'm not telling. He told me not. He told me not to say anything.
Got real pretty green leaves and
So I'll keep my word and not say anything about it. But he was a piece of work, I'll tell you. I wasn't expecting that at all.
I was gonna say, the people in the orchid community are very nice.
Yeah.
And very hospitable. It's too bad we couldn't have an experience like that in the bonsai over there.
Yeah. Yeah, but him getting you are part of the problem, and you've got to fix this.
Let's see.
I'll get right on that.
Wait a minute, let me get my tinfoil hat.
Yeah. So, whew. He has one person working for him. She's a student there in Hawaii, and I could see her smiling, like, yeah, he's not gonna.
Yeah, eyes
he
are
ain't
rolling
gonna-
in.
Yeah. Everybody be quiet.
She's looking pretty awesome.
When you do the gin,
Yeah.
you corkscrew the branch. It looked like. It looked like you just corkscrewed the branch when you were shaving it.
When I was doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the live branches.
Oh no.
You just.
I could do that, but I don't need to, right?
Okay.
So.
Okay, I thought maybe that would.
No, you can't, and I do that on the trees I'm developing. So I'll take the live branches, put wire on them, corkscrew them, and let that wire almost grow into them. Then I just took a bunch off today.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you do.
But these branches here, it looked like, especially that first branch, looked like you just.
Oh, I always do that.
side as it
Yeah.
was.
So here's the thing. So to shorten a branch, you can either cut it or you can bend it.
Right.
So I try to put that wiggle in it to shorten the branches up. Otherwise, they'd be out here, you know.
Right. No, I got
So,
that, but
yeah.
it just seemed like on the deadwood branches.
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
corkscrewed,
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care about them.
But on these, you just.
Right.
you
I'm much more gentle on these. So. And you always want to twist them the same way you make you twist your wire onto the branch. So.
I think you made the corkscrew look pretty easy on the deadwood.
Yeah. It just gives something more interesting to the tree rather than just looking at this tree with pads every place, you know? It gives you, again, it creates more of an illusion of age for one thing. few finishing touches here and I'll turn around and it'll be done. For right now, anyway. Got a lot of work to do yet, but the branches are set. Okay. And that would be considered a shohin, so it doesn't have to remain a shohin, but it definitely, but it could, and that's my kind of tree.
Easier to carry.
Much easier. Well, it is, but you got to make sure you water them enough because they dry out very quickly.
You can get 3 in the place of 1.
There you go. Yep. And you can carry a whole bunch of them at one time.
Are you offering a special 6 for something?
Yeah, 6 for 10,000.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's it. Yeah, you're seeing it. But again, any of these will look just as good or better. Any questions? Aftercare, keep this misted because the branches, we've messed with the bark a bit, and so I suggest misting it a couple times a day if you can. Or again, you're going to get dew on them in the morning. That'll be fine too. Anything that you can do to keep that bark from drying.
Wire on the gins.
On the gins, that can come off quicker, but the problem is I've got the gins attached to the live, so you can cut them off farther back, but they can stay on there just as long as you keep it on 2 years, like the other stuff.
What is the little tree?
So, any questions?
Yeah, what's that little tree over there?
That is a, yeah, that is a Korean hornbeam.
Is this for show or?
I brought it for someone here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're here.
So can we just?
I can't really say anything about much more than that unless she tells me to. Yeah. How long have they had leaves on them? Yeah, you could. I'm partial defoliating them. I usually wait till May. Then I'll defoliate all of them. I'm going to do some this week. Pardon me? Yeah, cutting big. Yeah, I'll cut. But in June I cut, or May I cut everything off. Everything of it, every bit of it. So there, that makes a better picture.
Now you say that would be repotted next year?
Yes. I really wouldn't, if you care for it correctly, I wouldn't hesitate repotting it tomorrow, because it's been slip potted from a gallon size to a 2 gallon size just in the past year. So all these roots are going to be fine and will work real easy. You just don't want to cut a whole lot, so I'd over pot it to begin with if you're going to do that, but it's just fine in one of these.
Like a trainer pot?
Yeah, you could do that.
Any other questions about anything?
On your maples,
Yes.
I don't know the name of the technique when the leaves first start opening and you go in and pinch out.
Yeah,
What happens if you say you just don't have the motivation to do it one year?
then you're going to have a maple that's supposed to be this tall. It's going to be this tall.
It's gonna,
Just continue to grow.
it's gonna shoot
Yeah.
out. Now,
Yep.
should I let that, or should that person
It,
let
dep-
that grow out?
if that person wants a bigger trunk or something like that, yeah, let it happen.